Beep, 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 all the new breaking news, Chester Ross, all that. Hello, how are we all? Just very quick, well, it's not that quick. Let's see how long it lasts. You never know with me, do you? I was having a wander through the Twitters as I was just getting things ready for the start of the new cohort of my programme. But, there's an article doing the rounds from one of the Scottish papers. I'll put it in the links in the Dubras as normal. Buy me a coffee, become a warrior teacher, subscribe to my Substack. If you really want to help out, please do. I really would appreciate it. It's like we're off and running. I forgot it was a bank holiday, by the way. I've been emailing people left, right and centre, and then I realised it's a bloody bank holiday. Why is no one responding to me? That's me all over, that is. Right, so here we go. There appears to be some movement from the UK government on the gender recognition thingy bob in Scotland, you see. Now, those of you that are in the know, which is most of you, I bloody hope, know that recently Scotland passed a rather vile bill without even thinking about it. You know, that wee Jimmy Cranky woman, Nicola Sturgeon. No surprise, named after a grumpy looking fish, right? So Nicola Sturgeon got this thing through, despite being told by everybody, including the good people for Women Scotland, keep prisons single sex, sex matters, all these wonderful groups telling them, Nicola, you might want to take a pause, dear. Nope, she's got Napoleon syndrome, chip on the shoulder, let's just get on with it, I'm having what I want. Though it does seem to me now, it's looking more and more like it was an excuse so that they could push a clash between the English Parliament, UK Parliament, and Scotland. Might be something to do with independence, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be a shame if Scotland left, but that's just me. If the Scottish people choose that they want to leave, then that's what we should do. Democracy works that way. I wonder what would happen if we allowed the English to have a vote. The English and the Welsh had a vote, right? Should we tell Scotland to bog off? That should be the question, yes or no? I wonder what would happen, right? Be a bloody shame, wouldn't it? Dreadful thing, really, but there you go. Anyway, so they passed this law. So I was having a wander on the Twitters earlier, and I came across a post by the wonderful, and fantastic sportswoman, Sharon of the Davies. You may be familiar with Sharon Davies. Parter of water at speed. Marvellous woman, right, okay? Who's been a real stalwart scrapper in this, especially considering that she has, a very high profile, and still puts herself on the line on a regular basis. So hello, Sharon. Fantastic, thank you. And what I've got here is an article from a newspaper in Scotland, which Sharon had tweeted about. It only came out, I think, in the last few hours. However, I'm cautious as well as optimistic about this because it is something quite important. So it's got here, the UK government is set to mount an unprecedented legal challenge to block Nicola Sturgeon's controversial gender reforms. Here's the bit where I'm nervous. The Sunday Mail has learned that ministers will more likely than not. So suddenly it's more speculative than definite. I've sent a few emails. Let's see what we can find out for later, shall we? They'll lodge what's called a Section 35 order in an attempt to veto the legislation within weeks. Now, this is a mechanism that's never been used before. But what essentially it does is it gives the UK government a right to block laws produced by the Scottish Parliament from gaining royal assent on the ground that they adversely affect UK statutes. Do you get it? So it's rather like, having a dump next to somebody's fence and it rolling into their garden. We're having none of that. Okay, so the British government has gone, can you move your turd, please? Just move the turd. Move it. So what the Scottish government have done, passed this law, knowing damn well that it was going to have influence on UK statutes. That's Sturgeon, I think, again for you. Anyway, so, by all accounts, a senior UK government source. See? Why can't we have some more certainty? Come on, Kemi, tell them we're going to do it. Or Rishi. A senior UK government source said ministers across the UK government have very serious concerns about the SNP's gender recognition bill. Lawyers and officials are still assessing the potential impact of the bill on the Equalities Act and other UK-wide legislation and considering the implications for prisons and schools. Oh gosh, this is music to my ears, and I imagine it's music to yours. I'll be back. Don't. Okay, so here we go. Obviously, this a spokesperson has said, any action by the UK government would have to be consistent with the devolution settlement, but using a Section 35 order, as set out in the Scotland Act, to prevent the bill going for royal assent is absolutely on the table. We like this table. Earlier this month, the Scottish Parliament voted to make it possible for people to legally change their gender without a medical assessment. So no dysphoria, right? Okay, just LARP as who you want to be. Okay, it's lunacy, isn't it? They can so they'll do it without medical assessment, faster, and at the age of 16 rather than 18. That's 16 rather than 18. While many MSPs say it advances the trans community, there's no such thing. Feminists fear for women's rights and access to single-sex spaces for obvious reasons, and I fear for the future of young gay men, particularly the effeminate ones. What's interesting is, on December the 15th, 2022, The Times published a gender recognition survey, which was from YouGov. So they don't mess about YouGov, they do good stuff, right? And the gender recognition, I'll put the links in the doobers, and the gender recognition survey ask some questions, and here are the answers so that you can see for yourself whether you think the Scottish government are pulling a fast one, playing a blinder, are rolling a turd under the fence. Is that what they're doing? Okay, so here we go. Would you support or oppose the following changes to the rules for people seeking a gender recognition certificate? This was the question asked. Removing the requirement for doctor's diagnosis of gender dysphoria. 60% said no. We don't agree with it. They don't agree with removing the requirement. That's the first one, right? Making it a criminal offence to make a false application or statutory declaration for gender recognition. 59% support it. Reducing the time applicants must have lived in their acquired gender from 2 years to 6 months, made up of a 3-month period with an additional 3-month reflection period. Who supports? Who is opposed? Who actually wants to think that? No, 60%. 60%. It's amazing, really. Reducing the minimum age of a person to apply for a gender recognition certificate from 18 to 16. 66% oppose it. Not one of those questions is in the affirmative. And yet, let's just push ahead with it. It won't matter. We'll just do it. We're the good guys. You're not the good guys, okay? Your narcissistic compassion is going to cause a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. But the UK government, if the UK government can step up and take this on, they can step up and take the rest of it on. In schools, universities, prisons, women's shelter. Just step up and take the lot of it on. Anyway, so, now, see, the UK government challenge, according to this, to the legislation, revolves around how the new bill will impact women and girls' rights in prisons and schools, which I think is one of the most important things. It's a rather good video today from Keep Prison Single Sex, talking about how an enormous amount of money that was meant for mother and baby units within prisons was actually being spent on rooms for men LARPing as women in women's prisons. If I can find that, I'll stick it in the doobers as well. But I was watching that earlier on. It's been loads to catch up with. And because I thought it was a working day, I've done it. It's a bank holiday. What am I doing, eh? So, the fear is that predatory men who claim to be trans to more easily gain a gender recognition certificate in Scotland can then use it to exploit the Equality Act in other parts of the UK. You bet. But men would never do that. Of course they wouldn't. What? The Scottish Parliament overwhelmingly voted in favour of the Gender Recognition Reform Bill by 86 to 39, but they were whipped to do it, mind. They were whipped to do it. Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack announced less than an hour later that the UK government would consider using powers. Well, this has just come out today. So the point I'm making is, and why I'm whittering to you, is I don't know whether actually this is new or they're just recycling stuff. So we'll see. But my thanks to the parter of water at speed, Sharon Davies, MBE. Right? So let's wait and see. But I thought we'd get something out on it, just so everybody knows what's going on. You can have a look and keep an eye. Because that's what we want, innit? We want them to go, you're not having that. Sorry. And then we can protect women, children and gay men. Yay! Which is what we all want to do. Okay? So have a nice rest of your bank holiday. I forgot. It was a bank holiday. I'm hopeless, okay? Buy me a coffee, do the usual. I'll see you later. Keep going, come on, 2023 is with us, and we must come out of the paddock like a horse on speed. Let's go. Ta-da!